It's time for Political Buzz, the television forum to discuss politics and issues of interest for all of Western New York. Now, from the WBBZ television studio at the Eastern Hills Mall, this is Political Buzz.
Welcome to Political Buzz. I'm Phil Arno. Today we're going to be talking about the retail business in Western New York. The Christmas season is the busiest time of the year for retailers and shoppers, and oftentimes it can make the difference for retailers between a profitable year and a disastrous year. Here to talk with me now about the retail market in Western New York is Judy Sirianni with the Clarence Chamber of Commerce, and Jeff Olig, General Manager of the McKinley Mall. What kind of a season has it been so far?
I don't think it's as strong as it has been in previous years, but there's many reasons why it's not. But I think that they should end as strong as they have, if not even better.
Well, there's been a bunch of different elements. I mean, when you consider cyber trading, cyber retail, if you will, and local, and then you factor in the weather, there's a lot of, as Judy says, there's a lot of elements that determine from year to year whether it's successful or not. We've seen a lot of articles lately about how so far in the season it's been down. Has that been your experience, Jeff?
Yeah, well, I don't know if it's necessarily been down for us. I mean, unfortunately, with the weather, we were impacted quite a bit from that, and unfortunately had to close for 5 days because of the weather. When we reopened on Sunday, the weekend before Thanksgiving, you know, it picked up a little bit, and then we had opened the center at 6 p.m. on Thanksgiving Day. I think that extended hours really did benefit us. Most of the retailers in the center were up for the Black Friday weekend. So for us, it was, again, maybe there was some pent-up demand from the previous week that we were closed, but overall, we're pleased with the way things are going so far.
Some people are angry or protest the fact that stores open on Thanksgiving. It occurs to me that those people, if they don't want to shop on Thanksgiving, they should just, fine, don't shop. But why do they dictate to other people what they can do on Thanksgiving?
That's like everything else. I agree with you. If you don't want to shop, don't shop. Spend the time with your family, and leave those shopping days until the whole day of Friday or Saturday or Sunday. But everybody. Well,
it is, after all, a business, and it's not just for Western New York, but we have a lot of Canadians that come in to shop in our stores. Is that much of a factor for McKinley?
It is probably not as much of a factor as for some of the shopping centers up north, but it is a factor. And you're right. I mean, there are people that do come in from outside of the area that, particularly the Canadians who celebrate their Thanksgiving in October. And again, like you said, it is a business for the retailers, and they are competing against a lot of the big box stores such as Walmart and Target and places like that are opening up earlier and earlier, and obviously the internet. You know, it is a difficult thing for a lot of the retailers to bring in staff, and like I said, we were open for 28 hours straight, so it can be hard on the staff.
Well, the storm did close you down for about, what, 5 days?
5 days.
So that must have, you know, put a big hit on the retailers in the mall itself.
It did, unfortunately, and that's why I said earlier. I mean, for us, it was a good thing that we opened up for the extended hours and helped to recoup some of those lost sales.
Now, did it seem like there was a rush at the beginning, or was it consistent basically through the entire weekend?
It was pretty consistent. Obviously, opening up at 6 p.m. on Thanksgiving, it wasn't quite as busy, but the traffic built to about 11 or 12 midnight, and then you know, it was pretty steady from then. We had a little bit of a dip, obviously, in the middle of the 2-3 o'clock hour, but then by 9 o'clock the next day on Friday, it was strong again, and there were a lot of people shopping and making purchases. So for us, it was a good thing.
Judy, in Clarence, we weren't affected by the storm, and In the chamber, there's a lot of smaller businesses in just the Clarence area, Clarence Hollow, Clarence Center. As opposed to the malls, how do the smaller businesses compete, and what is their Christmas season like?
Well, it's a destination, and what happens is that such as the Perfect Gift, they're in Clarence Center, and they have such unique gifts for people that would like to shop and get that something special for their relative or whatever. But I'll tell you, they do a good job. I call her up and tell her, Debbie, hey, come, put this away for me, I need it. But then you have the restaurants and that they do very well. And they go up and down Main Street, and they go into Clarence Center, they go on transit. But I think all in all, they all do well. They really do. They have a good commodity that people want. And then this past Saturday, we did shop local, shop our specialty stores, the small stores, and we had 3 groups that came together and did a special on shop your small stores, and it worked out very nicely. And we had Clarence Center, they had all their stores open and doing business and offering free cider and coffee and everything, and it worked for them. And then we had a group called the Discover Main Street that went into the different stores on Main Street, and they had a big section in the paper about shop Main Street, and they did well too. Could we do better? Yes. And then the chamber piggybacked on the whole thing and said, shop Clarence, shop this whole area, shop your small businesses, because that's where we need to build each of their businesses up, and that's how we can do it. So
do you talk to other chambers in the area and see how they're doing and compare notes?
Well, it's too early right now, but we will. We do have a Western New York Chamber Alliance that many of us belong to, and we get a lot of input from each other. So right now, I think that this area, we're very fortunate. Poor Jeff, with the storm and everything, but we've been there many times. And I think that all in all, we should finish with a strong sales, really retail sales.
Well, as my guests will testify to, time goes by very quickly when you're doing a show like this. That's all for this segment. When we come back, we're going to talk about the cyber sales and how that affects the retailers person to person. We'll be back right after this.
Christian, have you started your holiday shopping yet?
Not quite yet. I'm kind of a procrastinator, but I know what I'm going to get.
You think you're going to spend more this year than last year?
Yeah, I'm probably making a little bit more money now than I was last year. So.
Now you're connected here with Verizon. How's business going here?
Good. We had a huge Black Friday, and we're getting ready for a big Christmas.
You're a local merchant. Do you think people are looking more at the local angle and maybe selecting something local as opposed to maybe a national or a big box chain?
I think they're starting to support the local businesses more, which is great because especially in this mall, there's more smaller stores lately. So I just hope it stays that way because we've got a really lot of neat stores in Buffalo, especially in the Elmwood Village and throughout the malls. And I think it's just a great thing to support your local business people.
Are you looking at what you're going to shop for while you mall walk?
Sometimes, yes. Today, definitely.
Now, are you going to spend more or less this year? The reports were that people spent less on Black Friday.
We're probably about the same as we spent last year.
Do you have a budget?
Yes.
A lot of people to shop for?
Yeah, about 12.
Now, how about looking at shopping local for a local merchant versus someone who is a more national chain? Would you opt to go with the local merchant first?
Probably about 50-50.
How about online? Do you use the computer a lot?
Oh yeah, I did most of my shopping online this year.
Welcome back to our discussion of retail in Western New York. My guests, Judy Sirianni and Jeff Oley. We've been talking about the retail experience in Western New York and where we are this season. One of the questions some of the articles that I've read say that the retail is down a little bit, but the cyber sales might be up a little bit, which means it's probably a balance. The feel for shopping online is a whole different experience. You don't get that face-to-face. You don't get to ask questions of the sales clerk. What happens if this and what happens if that? And you have somebody that will take care of you if you have that face-to-face. Do you find that the cyber specials and the Cyber Monday takes away a great deal from retail?
Well, I think it may, certainly in some situations. I think that people still do like to come out to the shopping center and particularly
it's an experience.
It's an experience. It's a social interaction, and particularly with apparel. I mean, people like to touch and feel and try on and those kinds of things. Maybe for some of the more electronics or things like that. But I will say that even this year, in particular with Best Buy, I think people are, when you're making such a large purchase, particularly with some of these new flat screen TVs that are coming out with 4D and curved screens and things of that nature, people want to come out and make sure that, that they're getting what they are paying for. In addition to that, I think that retailers like Best Buy are now matching prices online.
There's a competition there.
There's a competition there. And it's a healthy competition. And a lot of these retailers are actually utilizing their stores as warehouses, if you will, where they will solicit orders over the internet and ship directly from the store, where you can return merchandise directly to the store. So they're becoming more and more savvy about it. But you are correct. I mean, it is nice, I think, for people. We still see thousands of people a year, millions, coming into the shopping center.
Well, at this time of year, especially in Western New York, that's one of the refreshing things that you can do is go to and walk around a mall.
Right.
It's not so much for the outdoor retailers where you have to kind of trudge through the snow, but it becomes an experience. You do some shopping, you have something to eat, you can take the family, the kids love the toy stores, and the adults love the adult toy stores.
Sure, and we've added some different things. Tabbytown is an example of something we added. It's a cat adoption center, and people oftentimes will come to the center just for them. We've added soft seating throughout the center to allow people to socialize and spend more time in the center. So those are some of the things that obviously you've got to do to compete with the internet. And unfortunately, the internet's here to stay, and it's not going away. So I think that retailers are finding ways to coexist with it, and they'll continue to grow their business both online and in the brick and mortar world as well. So,
well, this happens with most of the malls in this area. There's kind of a cycle of ups and downs, and I know McKinley was down for a while. And last time I was there, I was just astounded to see how well it was doing. The stores, the amount of people walking around, it was just it was a real surprise that they were. It was certainly one of the best shopping experiences that I've had recently.
Yeah, I mean, we've added several 100,000 square feet to the center with Bed Bath & Beyond, Best Buy, Barnes & Noble, Old Navy, Ulta Beauty over the last 6 or 7 years. And those are the kinds of things that you have to do. In addition, I mean, we've got Sears, Macy's, JCPenney, and the Bon-Ton. So
I heard that Best Buy at McKinley was one of the top stores in the country, in the chain.
That's true. They do very, very well, and was evidenced by the traffic we saw Black Friday. And they've done a great job as a retailer the last couple of years. I mean, they fell on some hard times, but they've made some improvements in the store. They've working with their sales associates to educate the consumers, and again, that's those retailers that are doing those things where they're working with sales associates to assist customers. I think that they're going to continue to gain customers going forward, and why go to the internet where, like you said, it's very impersonal, and if you're going to find out about you're making a $2,000 or $3,000 purchase, you want to make sure that you're making the right purchase.
Right. And the difference between the big retail stores, the Walmarts, the Targets, and the stores that are mom and pop stores, if you will, or locally owned stores.
Right.
The bigger stores have a tendency to be able to advertise more, and it's a different animal.
It is.
How does the competition between those two groups go? Is that make it really tough on the small guys, or is there basically a good split because of the way people like to shop?
I think, no, it's tough on the smaller businesses because they can't afford to do the advertising. It's really a lot of word of mouth, and then the other thing is that they can't supply like your big stores. No, they can only supply certain sizes, and once it's gone, no, they have to wait until it comes back in or wait until their order comes in. But I really think that it's been they've held their own. They really have. I think, they're managing it the right way. They're doing everything that they should be doing to get customers in, and let's hope that more of their customers will pass along and say, hey, come with me and come and see these smaller stores, and they'll manage to do well.
Well, of course, if they come to WBBZ, they could afford to advertise.
Right.
So we welcome them to our station. We're locally owned. We're a local connection in Western New York.
Right.
Is there a must-have gift for the year? Is there something that is really hot this year?
Oh yeah. What is really hot are TVs. Your electronics. No, I don't know if you know.
No, I would agree with that.
No, I had the opportunity to go into Best Buy. You were talking about Best Buy when you said that their customer service is by far one of the best, and it is. I couldn't find a few things, and they helped me, and not just helped me, they ordered it for me, and they sent it to my house, and I received it within 2 days. So I'm thinking to myself, my goodness, this is really good. But everybody, the televisions were all over the place. People are all over the place, seeing what size they want, and there's so many, and it's exciting. It really is to watch this happen, and but it's just not in Best Buy. It's Sears. It's all your electronical stores. Now that you can go in there and get it. So.
And this, as I said before, this time of the year kind of can be a make or break for businesses in the area. Do businesses really rely on a good trade volume in the Christmas season? Is that really as important as
I mean, certainly it's very important. I mean, obviously, for a lot of the retailers, it is. There are other retail periods throughout the year that they benefit from as well, but obviously this time of the year is pivotal.
Okay, well, I'd like to thank my guests, Jeff Oley, General Manager of the McKinley Mall, and Judy Sirianni with the Clarence Chamber of Commerce. It's been an interesting discussion. We're going to wrap up this segment in Political Buzz. When we come back, we're going to do a little retrospective on some history. Welcome back once again to Political Buzz. I'd like to thank my guests, Judy Sirianni and Jeff Oley. We're going to wrap up this Political Buzz with a little retrospective, a little historical perspective. This program is going to be airing on the weekend that's the 73rd anniversary of the Pearl Harbor attack, one of the most significant events in the history of our country. So we'd like to close out with a video that kind of gives a little perspective on that, and I hope you enjoy the program. I hope you enjoy WBBZ. Thanks very much for being part of us.
Mr. Vice President, Mr. Speaker, members of the Senate, of the House of Representatives, yesterday, December 7th, 1941, a date which will live in infamy. The United States of America was suddenly and deliberately attacked by naval and air forces of the Empire of Japan. The United States was at peace with that nation, and at the solicitation of Japan, was still in conversation with its government and its emperor, looking toward the maintenance of peace in the Pacific. Indeed, 1 hour after Japanese air squadrons had commenced bombing in the American island of Oahu, the Japanese ambassador to the United States and his colleague delivered to our Secretary of State a formal reply to a recent American message. Japan has therefore undertaken a surprise offensive extending throughout the Pacific area. The facts of yesterday and today speak for themselves. No matter how long it may take us to overcome this premeditated invasion, the American people in their righteous might will win through to absolute victory. With confidence in our armed forces, with the unbounding determination of our people, we will gain the inevitable triumph, so help us God.